Hello and welcome to the training session for creating the pay structure of employees for salary generation. In this session, we will learn how to set the actual amount of basic of employees and add earnings and deductions as per his grade. The basic salary defined for the employee in the screen is used in salary generation of the employee. The basic salary that we refer to is the pay in pay band if we see the 6-pay commission. Let us see the steps now. Click on the button M star and select the module HRMS. The module name HRMS starts appearing on the screen. Click on the activities button and select the screen pay structure from the list of screens. Once the screen opens, click on the view button. The window list of employees open. Select your employee from the list or enter the name of the employee for which the pay structure needs to be defined. Click on the name of the employee and the details of the employee such as the employee ID, employee number, employee name and the grade that we had associated in the official records displays on the main screen. We can also see the basic, that is the starting basic of the grade already associated to the employee in the screen. The HRA is also getting calculated automatically based on the basic showing on the screen. The HRA for this employee is showing because for this grade we must have made the HRA applicable. The grid in the screen displays the earnings and deductions heads for adding the values for employee. The amount in the earnings and deductions are as per the amount saved in the grade in which the employee is associated. Now let us see how to set the basic of an employee we have just selected. If the current basic of the employee is correct, then we do not need to set any new basic amount. But if the actual basic amount of the employee is more than this basic amount, then click on the button Set Basic. A small window Basic Details opens showing the basic range as per the grade. In the window, it is showing us the final basic, that is the current basic of the employee and the grade basic range. To add the amount to this final basic, click on the box against the increment by amount and a small tick appears. Click on the increment amount and enter an increment amount. This increment amount will be the differential amount between the basic which is appearing on the screen and the actual basic. That is, the difference between the current basic of the employee and the actual basic of the employee will be entered in this box. So for example, if the actual basic of this employee is 5300 whereas in the screen it is showing the basic as 5200, then the differential amount will be entered as rupees 100 and we can also see that the final basic is calculated in the screen. If this final basic is correct, then we can click on the close button. If it is not correct, we can further increment the amount and see the final basic. After this, we enter the date effective from, that is the date from which this basic is effective for the employee, and click on button Close. On closing, the small window closes and the basic of the employee is now showing us the final basic that we have just entered. This basic amount will be used for all calculations of salary of the employee, and this, as per the 6-pay commission, would be the pay in pay band. Please also see that in the grid allowances and deductions, all the earnings heads and the deduction heads as saved in the grade rule are appearing for this employee. The amount of any pay head, if saved, will also display in this grid. These are directly coming from the grade which is assigned to the employee. By default, all the pay head values showing in this grid are applicable to the employee. If required, we can make a pay head value inapplicable to the employee. For doing this, click on the amount column against the specific pay head and the amount changes to 0. That means that this pay head would not get calculated for this employee. By this step, we can link many employees to the same grade and we can still control that to which employee a particular pay head will be calculated as 0. We cannot change the amount of any pay head in this grid but can only make it 0. Now we have entered the basic of the employee. We have also defined his pay structure. But before saving, it is important to make sure that the employee will be considered for payroll generation. For this, we have to click on the box against the text on payroll. A small tick appears in the box, which means that the employee is on the roll of the school and his payroll will be generated. If this box is not ticked, the employee's payroll will not get generated. Click on the Save button. The data saving confirmation message is received. Click on the OK. Click on Clear button to clear the screen. Now it is important to see the details that have been entered by us. Click on the View button. Select or type the name of the employee for whom we have just entered the pay structure and click on the name of the employee. The details of the employee's pay structure appear in the screen. Check the details as required. Click on the Clear button and repeat the steps to save the pay structure of other employees also. Now if we want to update the pay structure of an employee, we follow the same steps as defining his pay structure first time. Click on the View button and select the employee for which we want to update the pay structure. The details of the employee and his pay structure appears on the screen. The screen also shows us the grade of the employee, which is as saved in the official screen, and the current basic of the employee is also shown. The grid in the screen displays the earnings and deductions for adding the values for the employee. The amount in the earnings and deductions are as per the amount of the grade. If the current basic of the employee is correct, then we do not have to set the new basic. But if the actual basic of the employee is more than the basic of the grade, then click on the button Set Basic and a new window, Basic Details, open. In the window, it is currently showing the current basic of the employee under the final basic. If we want to change this current basic to actual basic, we have to enter the differential amount. So click on the box against the increment by amount. A tick appears. Enter the increment amount and it will calculate the final basic and display on the screen. Enter the date on which the new basic is effective from and click on the Close button. The new basic shows against the basic amount on the screen. The effective date also appears on the screen. This basic amount will be used for all the calculations of salary of the employee, and this would be pay in pay band if we consider the 6 pay commission government rules. By default, all the pay head values showing in this grid are applicable to the employee. If required, we can make a particular pay head value as inapplicable. For doing so, we can click on the amount column against the specific pay head and it becomes 0. This means that this pay head would not be calculated for the employee. So this step can be followed for all the employees as required. Now make sure that on payroll box is checked, that is a tick is showing against the on payroll text. To save, click on the Save button. The data saving confirmation message is received. Click OK on the data saving confirmation message and click on the Clear button to clear the screen. Now it is important to see the details that we have just entered. Click on the View button, select the employee from the list and check the details that we updated are showing on the screen. Click on the Clear button and repeat these steps to update the pay structure of other employees. Points to remember for this screen are that in case the pay structure of employee needs to be refreshed due to incorrect basic etc., then the grade in the official record screen has to be removed and resaved in that screen. On doing so, the pay structure screen also gets refreshed and the original grade displays for the employee. The HRA of the employee in this screen is calculated on the basic pay amount only and no other dependency. In case HRA is dependent on other pay heads also, then separate dependency has to be defined in the pay head dependency formula, for which you can refer to our other tutorial. Pay structure of only active employees can be defined. Thank you for watching this video.